Hello. Do you want to compare your choice of values with the top n values that you have created using DAX? If your answer is yes, you are looking at the right video. We are on D for DAX part 4.4. In this demonstration, I'm going to speak about creating a conditional rank function to find the top n values. In case if you are not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. So, here is the task. We need to create a visual to show top n countries in terms of the profit value. The value of n should be decided by the user. You can see a slider here with a slicer. And the moment the user is going to make some changes here, that should be reflecting in the visual. User will then choose a country from another slicer and it should be compared with the top n countries. For example, in this column chart, you can see the country India being compared with the top 4 countries. To achieve this kind of result, there are a couple of steps involved. We need to create a new table with just one column holding the country names. This new table should be used as a slicer for the user to select his choice of country that needs to be compared with the top n countries. We need to create a what if parameter through which the user will decide the value for n. For example, he wanted to see top 3 countries or top 5 countries and so on. This what if parameter should be linked to the rank of the countries. Assume that we have 27 countries to be ranked. When the user selects one particular country that needs to be compared with the rest of the top n countries, it should be excluded from being ranked. Rather, it should be given a rank value of 0 for a specific reason, which I will explain a little later. Coming to the color code of the selected country, we have color codes and that can be applied through conditional formatting. And we just need a simple logic to identify the name of the country which is being selected by the user in the slicer. Finally, we need to sort the values in the visual. Since this visual is plotted against the name of the country and the profit values, normally it can be sorted either based on the profit value or based on the name of the countries. However, we are going to add the rank value of the countries as an additional information in the tooltip, and then we will be able to sort the visual based upon that information also. The conditional ranking is the most important trick behind the successful implementation of this task. There are 2 conditions that need to be fulfilled, and the first condition is to give a rank value of 0 to any country that is selected by the user. And the second condition is to exclude the user selections from being considered for regular ranking. For this purpose, I am going to declare 2 variables. And then I will be using a filter function to create a table excluding the user's choice of a country name and then provide rank for all the countries except the country which was already selected by the user, for which the rank value will be 0. Couple of other measures that we are going to use in this example are a simple explicit measure to identify the profit, that will be summing the values from the profit column of the fact table. And then we are going to use a logic called cutoff, which you might have noticed in part 4.3 of this video. And for getting the required color for the visual, we are going to use a color code measure called use color. This is the expected result. There are 3 top countries shown in the visual. That is because the select n value is currently 3. And when I move the slider towards my right, I can see that the numbers can increase and the visual is also responding. So what you see currently on the screen are top 5 countries in terms of their profit value. I do have another slicer called country on my right, which currently says no specific country is selected. However, the moment I am going to select a particular country, let us say for example India, then you can see that the value of India also comes up inside the visual. That is now being compared with the rest of the top 5 countries. In addition to that, I will be able to check what was the position of India compared to the top 5 countries in any specific year. For example, in this particular year 2018, the value of India is almost 50% of the top 1 country. So this is the kind of result we are expected to create, and let us dive into action to create something similar to this. For that purpose, I do have another file readily available with the Asia table, which we have discussed already in part 4.3 of the video, along with the calendar table that was also discussed in part 4.3. I have created a simple measure called the profit of Asia, which will be used for building the rank value. To give you an idea about the basics, let me first create one additional table from the Asia table using an option called new table. My new table will be named as country, which will bring unique values from the country column of the Asia table because I am using a function called values. The moment I hit enter, you will be able to see the creation of a table called country, and when I go to the table view, you will be able to see there are 27 rows or 27 countries listed here, and there is no duplicate value. These are all unique values. So this is the first thing I need to do. I have created a table called country holding only one column called country to show the names of the countries that are available in the data table. To give you an idea about filtering a specific country from being included in the list, I am going to create a new table which is named as filter country. As you can see in the formula, I am going to filter the Asia tables country column to exclude, that is not equal to India. When I am going to hit enter, a new table called filter country will be created, and when I open the table view for that, I will be able to see only 26 rows, which certainly means one country is missing, and that is India. Let me check. I don't see the name of India here. So this is just to give you an idea about how the filter function is going to work. Otherwise, I may not need this table inside this model, so I am going to remove this from the model. The next step is to understand from where the country values are going to be selected. I have a slicer here with a mild yellow background, which is populated from the country tables country column. I have created a measure called C1, which will speak about a selected value from the country tables country column, and I am trying to call the value of C1 inside a card visual. Assume that I am going to click India, then C1 is equal to India. Please remember, we have created this country table with country column, and this is what is going to be used as a slicer by the user to choose a particular country which he wants to compare with the rest of the top n countries. So C1 is important for me. The measure called C1 is going to identify which value from the country tables country column is selected by the user. Assume that I am going to click on China. C1 says that Raja has selected China here. And similarly, I do have another country column that comes from the Asia table, that is our fact table. And I have created another measure called C2, which will identify which country is being selected from the Asia tables country column. Request you to make a note of these two measures C1 and C2. Both of them are trying to identify the name of the countries selected either from the country tables country column or from the Asia tables country column. And the purpose of me showing you this example is to get an idea about what C1 is, what C2 is. Otherwise, I may not need these two measures here, so I am going to get rid of these measures. As a next step, I have created the rank formula or the rank measure. I have declared two variables called C1 and C2, which were previously demonstrated to you. And then, if the user is going to choose India from the country table's country column, that is going to be C1, then C2, that is from Asia table's country column, the rank of India will be 0. That is what is the if statement is trying to convey. For any country other than India, assuming that India is being selected by the user, for any country other than India, rank will be calculated using the regular RankX function. You can also see that I have applied the filter logic to exclude the country that is being selected by the user, that is C1, from being given a rank, because this country called C1 is already given a rank of 0. So this is the logic behind this rank function that I am using, which I call as a conditional ranking. And when I accept this, and then when I pull the rank value inside the table, you can see that the name of the country comes from the Asia table, and the profit value comes from the measure that I have created, and the rank is also coming from the measure that I have created. I do have all the 27 countries here. That is because the user has not selected any country from his optional slicer. The moment the user is going to choose one particular country, let us say India, you can see a change in this table. I'm going to click India. Then you can see that the rank for India has become 0. This confirms that our logic is working fine. When the user selects any particular country, it is given a rank value of 0 and the rest of the countries are ranked according to the rank function. Everything is good, but why should I have a 0 value here? If that is your question, you will get an answer in next few minutes. I am now going to create a what if parameter using the modeling tab's new parameter section and then clicking on numeric range, and the name of the parameter I am going to provide is called n value, which should be a whole number starting with a minimum of 1 incremented by 1 each, and a maximum of 10 can be permitted. The default value is 1, and I am going to add this slicer to this page by clicking create. The what if parameter has created a table called n value, a measure called n value, which is going to read as selected value from n value table, n value column, and a slicer. As of now, there is no value in the slicer. However, when I move the slider to my right, I will be able to see the value popping up. I'm just going to keep it as 1 at this point of time. This measure is called n value. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to rename this as simple NV. What is this NV? If somebody is going to increase the numbers to say 3, NV is equal to 3. That is the value from the slicer. Now the question is, how we are going to link this n value to the rank of the countries by profit, so that a limited number of items can be seen inside the table. To relate the NV value with the rank value, I am creating one more logic which is named as cutoff, as you can see in your screen. So whenever the value of the rank is less than or equal to NV, then the result will be 1, otherwise it will be 0. And for this visual, this table visual, I need to include this cutoff measure as a filter mechanism, and I am going to declare that it should be equal to 1 and then apply filter. Now you can see that when I say I want to have 3 values, I can see top 3 countries listed here. In addition to that, India is also listed here. You may now ask me a question, how India is being listed? That is because the formula says rank is less than or equal to NV, NV is equal to 3, 0 is less than 3, and that is why it is now included here. So, if we are constantly asking a question, Raja, why you are giving a rank value of 0 for any country that is being selected by the user, probably you are getting the answer now. Let us now uncheck the country called India from the slicer, and then you can see only top 3 countries being listed. You can hover the slider, you can see top 5 countries are listed here. Maybe you can type the number. Top 10 countries are listed here. Everything is working fine, and the moment you choose any particular country, that is included inside the visual. So we are all set to create the expected result of a column chart. And one more thing we need to do is we need to create a color code for the country that we are going to select. For that purpose, I am going to create one more measure. I am creating a very simple measure saying that if the user has selected, let us say, Cambodia from his slicer, then go to the Asia country table, reach Cambodia and give this particular color to that particular country value. You can see the color codes available here. Probably you can use any other color of your choice. We are almost set to create the result as expected. So let me create the results in a second, then I'll show it to you. We are now ready to test the results. We have a column chart that gets its country name from the Asia table and the profit value from the measure that we have created. And then we have the year slicer, then the N value which can be selected by the user. For example, user is going to type 5 there, and now we could see top 5 countries. And here is the trick. The user is going to choose a country and that should be compared with the rest of the top 5 items. And please remember, this slicer is coming from not the Asia table but from the country table. So this is what we have defined as C1 and C2. This is going to be C1. And the moment I am going to choose one particular country, let us say for example Bangladesh, that also comes here. Okay, and then it is sorted as per its profit value. We don't need this. We in fact want this to have a specific color and it should be sorted based upon the rank value. When I hover my cursor, I am not able to see an option to sort this visual according to the rank because this visual has been created using a country versus profit. Rank is not at all included here. So the first thing I am going to do is I am going to click on the visual. We'll be reaching my tooltip area. And in the tooltip area, I can add any data field and I am going to add my rank into that. When I hover my cursor, now you can see that tooltip is talking in terms of the rank value also, which was previously not seen. And when you try to sort this visual now, you will be able to see an option called rank. So I can use the rank value and then I can ensure that it is sorted in ascending order so that whichever country the user is going to choose will be appearing as the first element in the visual. So one part of the job is over. Let us check that. Instead of Bangladesh, let me go there and check, say, India, and that is visible here. The next thing, this should be given a specific color code for which we have already created a formula called use color. That should be now implemented by going to the option called columns and then conditional formatting should be done through a field value, and my field value is the measure that I have created called use color. When I click OK, whichever color I have chosen as per my color code comes up there. So this is the color code I have selected, and now you can see that that color code comes over there. If you need some other color, you can choose the color code accordingly. So we have almost completed the task. I'm going to say I now want to see only top 3 countries against India, and then I want to check what happened during 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. So I'll be able to do a complete data analysis of a selected country against top 3 countries or top 4 countries or top 5 countries as per the expectation of my management. So that is the point of delivery. Please remember that we have not even used the TopN function to create these values. We have used a RankX function with a condition, and that is the real trick of this particular activity. In the previous video, part 4.3, we discussed about a TopN function. In this demonstration, you might have noticed that we have identified top n values through RankX function alone, which means that we have not at all used the top n function, still we are able to identify the top n values. In fact, we have used a conditional ranking method to get the results. Providing a specific color for the user's choice of country was achieved through conditional formatting. Linking the top n value with the rank happened via a simple logic that was used as a filter component. This may be useful for some viewers. Please do comment your thoughts on this video. Thank you for watching this video. See you in our next video.